Oh boy.
Oh my goodness. That was emotionally draining.
You could say that again.
I don't. Holy crap.
Yeah, I was getting pissed. I was like, okay, I guess Etrian Odyssey is making like a Persona dungeon crawler. Okay, that's cool. Okay, dancing game. Okay, Ultimate Suplex. This can't be it. This can't be it.
Yeah, I think we'll walk through. Do you wanna start from the beginning of the whole thing to talk about like the whole way it went down?
Sure. Okay, so it was like it did this countdown, right? And then it didn't even start with a trailer. It started with this like old lady like blocking. She was like standing in front of this screen. So apparently on the teaser site it was all these locations, right?
Before we get there were actually two countdowns.
That's true.
There was one countdown, and it counted down to the second countdown. And it had been counting down, by the way, for several weeks, right? Because we had the original teaser weeks ago, maybe months ago, to this date. And then there was the 3 other countdowns to the Midnight Channel videos.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a countdown to the motherfucking countdown.
Ugh.
I can't. This will go down in history as one of the most troll-tastic PR stunts in gaming history.
Oh, yeah, Kojima's fake company with the guy doesn't even come close.
Moby Dick Studios, weak sauce.
Fuck out of here.
Get that shit out of my house. No, this was way better. Because the way it worked was they were streaming the real trailer on video screens in Japan, on the sides of buildings. But they cut the live stream to a lady in front of one of those screens, blocking it, talking about something in Japanese. My favorite. This is gonna come up multiple times, but the Twitch.tv stream, was superb.
My God.
All caps. Why the fuck is this shit in Chinese? Beautiful.
Oh my God.
Just gorgeous. I could not have faked a better comment. Someone should have saved that. All of those were gold. There was just constant, fury in there.
God, because initially people were like, obviously, here we go, Persona 5. What's this bitch doing? Get out of here. I want to see Persona 5.
Yeah, geared up with the trailer. It was clearly a trailer. It started with a logo, and there was a ticking clock, and then it just cut to this lady, and you can see behind her something's going on. There's characters jumping around, and there's, action and stuff, and it's it's happening. We were all Persona 5 is happening behind this lady, and we can't see it. No! And then they did show it to us, and it's, Persona Q. It's a dungeon...
Shadow of the Labyrinth.
A 3DS dungeon crawler, clearly done in the Etrian Odyssey engine.
Yep. Which I'm actually kind of excited about. If that was all that they were going to show, I would have been pissed.
Oh yeah,
now when we got what we wanted, I'm like, okay. I can be done.
When it looked like that was the announcement, I was inconsolable. I actually got up out of my chair and laid on the floor.
Yeah.
I was like, no, it can't have come to this. This can't be it. Damn you, Sega! But no, in light of later reveals, I'm perfectly down with that. I want to play that game. I have no problem at all finishing up that story arc, if that's what they're doing, because it looks like the main character from 3 is back, so apparently,
Yeah.
Elizabeth...
Who wasn't in Persona 4 Arena.
No, Elizabeth was on a mission to free him, so it looks like she succeeded, maybe in the events of Persona Arena 2, or, the Ultimate Suplex Hold. Is that what we're calling it?
I guess.
Which they also showed a thing for. That was the second. So it was Persona Q, and then Persona Arena Ultimax Suplex Hold. And if you remember, there was 3 boxes on the teaser website.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So everyone's like, there's 3 announcements. It's got to be Persona Q, Ultimax Arena Hold, and Persona 5. Oh my God, get hyped. And then you tweeted a picture, you little shit, I think it was from Famitsu, of a game called Persona 4 Dancing All Night. And I was like, well, that's clearly fake. Taylor copied and pasted that from a joke NeoGAF thread. Everything's fine. And it cut.
Nope.
And it cut to Rise dancing. And I legitimately almost started crying. I actually sent to Sean on Skype. Let me find it. I am dead fucking. This is quote me. I am dead fucking serious. I will quit video game journalism if this is it. I was not kidding. I was seriously sitting here like, no, this can't. This is not okay.
Yeah.
This is not a direction that I'm comfortable with my life going in. This is it. This is a sign from above that this isn't the life that I want to lead.
Exactly. Oh my god.
It's basically Hatsune Miku, right?
Yeah, more or less. It's like a little dance rhythm game for Vita.
Do you think Sega had any hand in that? There's no way. I mean, that
game had to have been in developed well before they got bought, I imagine.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah, everyone was saying Sega, and I was like, that. I mean, it looks pretty far along. They just got it bought, like, a couple months ago at the very earliest.
Yeah. So that seemed like a thing that they had to have been working on that at least a year ago.
And that's another thing. Knowing Persona 5 is real, I don't care that exists.
Yeah, totally. I'm like, okay, whatever. We're probably never going to get it, so it doesn't really matter.
We got Hatsune Miku, and it sold enough to get a PS3 port, or Vita port.
That's true, huh?
So maybe Sega will bring it over. You hear that?
I heard that, yeah.
Okay. So I'll probably have to edit that out.
Whatever. And then Teddy talked for what seemed like an eternity. I was like, Teddy, just shut the fuck up and just get with it.
Yeah, it was 40 minutes until they got to the real announcement, and most of that was just Teddy blathering. Once again, the Twitch comment stream, fucking fabulous. Everyone was just bear puns and death threats for miles. Absolutely great. And people were making up like fake translations.
Yeah, oh man, that was great. It was great.
But I mean, Twitch is an American site. They had to have known, I don't know, to have the whole thing in Japanese. Oh man, I know it's a Japanese company. You'd think they would at least had subtitles or something.
Well, see, here's from what I understand, that Twitch, it was basically, that was a guy streaming the official stream. That wasn't like Atlas's stream or something.
No, I know. I was just thinking out loud that there should have been subtitles or something. You don't think?
Yeah, I mean, totally. I mean, Persona is pretty big in the States now. I mean, relatively speaking.
I mean, it doesn't have the like percentage penetration into the culture that it does in Japan, but just sheer numbers because we have a much larger population. Mm-hmm. So even if it's a smaller percent, I imagine it's at least comparable. Okay,
so they did the dancing game, they did Ultimate Suplex, which we've known about for a while, and they did the Dungeon Crawler, which is probably done by the Etrian Odyssey team. Then we finally got Persona 5. So
all 45 seconds of it.
Yeah, I was like, is this happening? Because they did the chairs, and then they had 5 chairs, and then in the 5 pop up, like, yes, finally, Jesus. So from the very little we have, what are your thoughts on what it's going to be about and the themes, and just go. Just talk.
Well, it looks like we got the color motif. Traditionally every Persona game has a color motif.
Sure.
4 is yellow, 3 is like dark blue. This one looks like red. Mm-hmm. It appears to have been all new characters. They didn't show any of the old ones, and I guess I assume the chairs represent at least 5 new characters. The theme, like the actual like story theme, seems to be slavery. Like the only words in the entire thing were "you are slave," which is not grammatically correct in English, and "want emancipation." And if a fucking Abraham Lincoln would have popped up, I would have flipped out. It doesn't say anything about where it's set, time period, like age range of the protagonists. We have not much to go on. Just red, slavery, 5 chairs.
Yeah.
And we do have a console and a release window. Console, PlayStation 3. If you go back to the last thing you and I recorded on Persona, you remember that we threw out some guesses. One of them was PS3, because Persona 4 came out for the PS2 after the PlayStation 3 had already launched. So this fits that pattern, although I assume we will get a Vita port in several years.
Sure. Possibly a PS4 port. I don't know how easy that would be to make, but depending on how that sells in Japan.
Well, I mean, Sony's supposed to be getting their Gaikai streaming service together, so if there's any truth to what they're saying, we should be able to stream it from the PlayStation 4 someday.
Yeah.
They don't need to port it if they can do what they say they can do.
Very true. Very true.
But then the other thing is the winter 2014 release date. Now, you and I have been kicking around release dates for this since we've known each other.
That's pretty much dead on from what we said, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought it would be 2015, but I'll tell you what. You know how long it took to localize P4?
I don't.
About 5 months.
Okay.
So winter 2014, presumably Japan, will translate to 2015 for North America.
Yeah, I'm wondering how on top of things are Atlas is, because in the months since, I feel like their translation's gotten faster. So I'm hoping it's not 5 months. I'm hoping it's more like 2 or 3 months, but who knows? Who knows?
I mean, they could pull a Nintendo like they did with Pokemon and release it simultaneously. Do you think that's a priority for them right now?
Man, it's got to be. That's their biggest franchise.
Oh, man. At a certain point, they are whoring that property out.
Yeah, I mean, all these games that they announced today, I'm like, really? Really? Like a dancing game? Really? That was ridiculous. That was a little too much. I
mean, we joke about, like, the Final Fantasy Crystal Novius or whatever the F that was called.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they announced more than that in one day than Square pumped out of the entire sequel mill.
Yeah.
For their their thing.
That was a lot. It was a lot. I mean, whatever. We're getting Persona 5, and that's all that matters. Really care about.
They could have announced a Teddy simulator, and I would be okay with that. just be Teddy. Try on different mascot costumes. Walk around Inaba.
Teddy Legends, the ultimate platformer.
Sexually harass women. Make bear puns. Yeah. Okay. I wouldn't play it, but I would excuse its existence if we actually got P5. Do you think that's a legitimate worry that they're kind of squeezing all of the life out of P4 because it's the most popular, that they're kind of making it a joke?
I don't know.
Because there's the anime, there's Arena, which I consider like legitimate kinds of spin-offs, and there's like a musical stage show, and there's like all kinds of like merchandise. That's fairly normal for Japan. And then there's a dungeon crawling spin-off and a dancing game.
The dancing game was a little much.
Like that's the step over the line.
See, I think it would have been more forgiving if it was in the vein of like theater rhythm. It was like a music rhythm game that wasn't so reeked of Hatsune Miku. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if it wasn't so Miku, if we can coin an adjective here. Yeah. The one thing I will give it is that at least Rise is a pop idol in canon. Like, at least, they didn't dress up. Like, the equivalent here would be, like, a Final Fantasy VII dancing game with, like, Cloud and Aeris and Tifa dancing. Like, this makes a little sense.
I guess. And to be fair, they also had a new character in that dancing game. They showed Rise, and then some new character, and I didn't catch her name, but...
Oh, there's new characters in all of it. There's new characters in Persona Q and Arena.
Yeah, Arena, there was that red hair guy. I didn't catch his name.
I will bet money right now that he's just Nyarlathotep in another form.
You don't think he's a Persona 5 character? His hair is red, after all.
It might be. That's just who I assume it is, because if you played the original Arena at the end, it was heavily implied that he was back. And I would assume he would take human form to fight people. He has done that before.
Okay, fair enough. But
yeah. And also, the character design and those Persona Q new characters look like they fell out of Hot Topic in like the late 90s. See,
I didn't catch the new characters for that. I was like too busy being mad.
Totally understandable response. Yeah, hopefully, you should be able to find him on BT. We posted or Sean is working on posting it, this little motherfucker. But, I think that she should be done by now. But yeah, there was like a guy with like all kinds of like spikes. They were both like in all black. Let me see. Yeah, he posted it.
Let's see if I can get some pictures. Someone Neo. Oh yeah. There was a little tiny blonde girl, and there was that tall guy with the black hair with the spiked collar. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. And that guy has a gun or something.
I'm looking at it right now, just trying to find the exact place where it is. But give me a second here.
Yeah, here there's a gaff thread with some pictures, if that helps. But yeah, I don't know. Do you think we'll get that Persona Q Shadow of the Labyrinth? I hope.
I assume we'll get it. We got Etrian Odyssey, and that's what this is, but with more brand appeal.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be strange if we didn't.
So, according to Gaff, Persona Q is directed by Daisuke Kanata, the Etrian Odyssey 4 director. It's focused on dungeon crawling and has an Etrian Odyssey style battles. Yep. So, yeah, it's weird that they not only localized Etrian Odyssey, but they did 2 in the same year. And I can't imagine those sold very well.
I'm sure they made their budget back, but I don't think they were like runaway successes. I'm sure they just kind of justify their own existence and no more.
Sure, yeah. That's fair. Yeah, because those aren't like, I don't know what the text is. There can't be that much text in those games, because I know when I played Etrian Odyssey 4, and outside of like items and like spells, there's just not a lot to translate. There's no story really. Although this looked like it was a lot more story heavy than Etrian Odyssey.
Yeah, but I mean, the Persona games are dungeon crawlers already. They just are heavier on the visual novel style talking parts. Yeah,
they do stuff that a lot of other games don't. I would almost consider them a sim in some ways, right? Because you like go on dates and you study and you hang out with your friends and whatnot. But yeah, like half the game is a dungeon crawler. Yes, very true.
So so it seems like Q just kind of shifts the balance in the crawling direction a little bit more.
Yeah.
So instead of like 50-50, it's going to be like 30-70 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I imagine we'll get it. There will be more to translate, but if Etrian Odyssey justifies localization, then this certainly will.
Yeah, I mean, God, if Conception 2 justifies localization.
Oh my God. Should we talk about that? Because that was another Atlas reveal last week.
Yeah.
And there was the mystery site with a sonogram. I said it was either going to be going to be Catherine related or Demi Kids, which is a Shin Megami Tensei spin-off that they stopped making a while ago. But it turned out to be Conception 2, a game by Chunsoft, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is not an Atlas property, but it makes sense that they would handle it because it's a dungeon crawler with dating aspects, you could say, generously. So it fits kind of into their oeuvre.
Indeed. Well, I laughed when I looked up basically what this game is. It seems like it's a dating sim where you get girls pregnant and then go dungeon crawling with your love babies.
Yeah, actually the reason I had heard this their first one, and the first one came out, and that's the reason I didn't think that this teaser was for the second one, is because I thought it would just be too weird and too difficult to market for them.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the first one was actually called Conception, Please Have My Babies. And that was literally the name of the video game. And I was like, there's no way Atlas will touch that. That's just weird. And then if Fox finds out, it's going to be on the news, and they're going to have to explain it, and it's just going to be awkward for everyone. But it's actually, from my understanding, it's not as weird as it sounds. Like, apparently all the reproduction is magical in nature.
Oh, okay. So you don't, like, bang girls in the game. Interesting.
My understanding. It's like you get... Okay. It's my understanding, like, you get full friendship levels, and then you do, like, some kind of ritual, and then there is a baby.
Interesting.
Or something. I haven't played it. My understanding is that it's not explicit. It's just a little weird. And actually, the more I think about it, that's kind of the plot of Fire Emblem Awakening.
Yeah, it's true.
So, not that weird. They did what they're localizing it as, like, Conception 2 Children of the Stars or something.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's not... It could have been handled much more awkwardly.
True, very true.
But, yeah.
Gosh, yeah. I mean, so to go back to Persona 5 for a minute, I'm wondering if this will even continue the trend of it being in a high school setting with and if they'll continue the social links. I mean, I feel like the social link thing is what really made those games popular, because it felt like you were connecting with the characters. And I think it would kind of upset people if they didn't have those in some way.
That is the defining element of those games. They could change them, update them, improve them, refine them, but getting rid of them entirely would be foolhardy, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. That's what I like about it. I mean, it gives it a different dimension. It's almost like that and Persona 1 and 2 are totally different games in a way.
They're quite different, although some of that stuff is hidden in those games. Like, there is an element of where you can like kind of change how people respond to you, but it doesn't keep track of it like for you to check, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they're making it more explicit, I think, helps it. Makes it more accessible and connects with the player more.
It also seems pretty dark. I mean, not that Persona 3 isn't dark, but this is like it sounds like you're chained somehow, and do you want emancipation or something? So I'm wondering if like you're tied to an evil entity or something like that, and you're like, oh, do my deeds to get free, or I don't know.
I'm glad it seemed intense. Yeah, I was worried that it would be a little too goofy, because I mean, we sat and watched Teddy talk for half an hour.
Yeah.
And I was really worried that if they were going to show it, it was going to be some kind of, Persona 5 dancing all night shit. And I would have cried. But no, it was like all red, dark. It was just like stark and real and in your face. And it's like pretty raw. I liked the direction. There will be comic relief. There will be levity. But this seems like tonally a step closer to P3 than P4.
Mm-hmm, totally.
Just from the 40-second teaser we got, it could be entirely non-representative of the final game, but that's the vibe it gave. As far as, I mean, I don't want to assume too much, but do you say that it might not be a high school setting anymore? I saw those chairs.
Oh, that's true.
And I thought, school chairs. I thought maybe, because then those kind of shackles and chains showed up around the feet of the chairs. I thought maybe prison?
Yeah, that's what people were saying in GAF. Like maybe you got arrested or something like that. But those do look like school chairs, either high school or college. Yeah,
that's interesting, because I mean there aren't a lot of romance opportunities in prison. Although if they went that direction, I would be interested in seeing how they did that. I'm not going to say that doesn't intrigue me, but I assume it's going to be school again because of those chairs. What other possibilities are there? I mean, all we have to go off is that little bit, but...
See, here's the thing. I imagine... This is my hope. This is, if I had my way, this is how I would want Persona 5 to go. Keep it in the school setting, because Persona games have always been in the school setting. Keep the social links. Maybe make them more dynamic, have more events, like some more dynamic events, have more calendar events, like how there would be those collective events, like, oh, let's go to the temple for New Year's or whatever. More stuff like that, like just cool times where the characters get to show off their personality. But what I would hope in Persona 5 is, since it's on PS3 and maybe PS4, there's rumors on GAF already, but there's more locations. It's like the school, and then like the hangout mall place, and then some random floodplain park area. It'd be cool to have it be just bigger, like huge areas to explore, not just little corridor school hallways, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that is a natural direction to take the series, is just take what you already have, what works, and just kind of expand on it, make it bigger, more, involved. And that is what I want to see. For example, we talked about this when we did a comparison of P3 and P4 on a previous show we did together, when I was explaining how I like the way the romances are handled, but I want it to have more impact on the world, like people recognize it. Like if you're dating a girl, have people react to that in a way instead of just like acting the same no matter what's going on. Stuff like that would be great. But what I thought about when I saw the chairs and stuff, you start in school maybe, but maybe instead of how the games usually end at like graduation time. Mm-hmm. Like Yu goes home, and then there's the graduation ceremony in P3 where what happens. What if it went past that? Like, what if after that, like, they went on with their lives? You know how, like, in Persona 4 Golden, there's, like, that, 10 months later thing and everyone comes back?
Yeah.
Why? I think we could get the best of both. We could have our cake and eat it, too, where we get the high school setting, and then we have like real adult problems, and that's where I thought the jail thing comes in.
That would be interesting. That would be like a second or third act or whatever. It's like, okay, now things get serious.
or here's another thing, maybe multiple player characters.
Yeah, see, that's what I was going to ask. Do you think they'll start the game with a male and female protagonist?
It's possible. You could have a pick of one or the other, like the PSP port of P3, or something this is happening a lot. You see it with Resident Evil 6. We saw it with Grand Theft Auto 5. It's the multiple protagonist angle is like the new hotness, where you have like your high school students, so you get that fill, and then you have maybe like a detective or something, and then you get like a prisoner. That's actually something Yakuza 4 did as well. Is where you have like the businessman character and then the prisoner character, and you get a juxtaposition.
Ooh, that could be interesting. Like, can you imagine if you played as, like, Dojima, like, just taking Persona 4 as an example. You play as Yu for a little bit, and then you play as Dojima for a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I didn't see it myself, but someone said, in I think it was the Persona Q trailer, they saw Teenage Nanako or something, and I was like, that doesn't sound right. But that got me thinking that if there are any P4 cameos in P5, because it seems to be, we're assuming it's new characters, new story like we wanted.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind if they popped up.
Oh, yeah, because it seemed the prevailing theory leading up to this reveal was it was going to be Persona 4 2 or something along those lines. But, yeah, I mean, I would be totally cool if they had, like a Teenage Nanako or whatever, just some, like, one of the kids is a teacher now or something weird, I don't know.
Definitely, yeah, it seems like Persona Q is what the 4-2 thing everyone is thinking, because it's those characters, they meet the three characters, they go on a dungeon crawl. So that's what that was all about. But if Nanako shows up in 5 and it's just like, in the background of a scene, or she's shopping at Junez or something and it's not a big deal, like that would be super cool. I love the Vincent cameo in 3. Mm-hmm. And if you played Persona 1 and 2, you know that a bunch of those characters carry over. Nanjo is a playable character in one of the Persona 2s. He was in Persona 1 playable. Yukino is playable in both, and Maya and Tatsuya are both playable in both the 2s. So this is not unprecedented.
Very true. Also, this is a little bit more in your face, but in Persona 4, when you actually go to the Persona 3 high school, and the character that I believe is dateable in Persona 3 is like your tour guide.
Yeah, the girl you go to the library with, dates and stuff. Actually, that's my favorite part of the Persona 4 anime.
Yeah.
Is the episode where they go to Gekkoukan and there's all the music. Because we've had this argument, but I think the Persona 3 soundtrack is superior, and it's just so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a great episode. Like, literally the whole soundtrack, it was from Persona 3, which is kind of cool.
Do you want to I mean, at this point, fuck it on spoilers. Do you want to talk about how... Were all the dead characters from P3 in that Q trailer? Did you notice that?
Oh, God. I beat Persona 3. I don't remember who dies, though.
Well, the main character.
Oh,
first of all.
Does he?
Yeah. What? Are you kidding right now? Are you fucking with me?
Well, I guess okay, so I know at the end, like, Aegis is, like, comforting him, and it's sort of implied, like, oh, everything's fine, he just goes back to school, but he really is, like, in heaven or something like that, or he's dreaming.
No, I have to explain the ending of Persona 3 to you. He, like, through sheer willpower, his body carries on till the end of school, and then he dies, as you find out in the FES edition, his soul is, like, trapped in this dimension, keeping this door closed, and there's like a monster on the other side. And then in Persona Arena, Elizabeth is trying to find a way to get him down. So presumably, given the Q teaser we saw, she succeeded because he's back.
Okay. So to be totally honest, I got to the final boss of Persona 3 and I fought him over and over and over and over, and I couldn't beat him, so I just watched the ending on YouTube. So I probably missed something.
God damn it, Taylor.
When I watched the ending. Either that or the guy didn't have the full ending or something like that. But,
you disappoint me in new and exciting ways every time.
Yep.
Also, Shinjiro was in the trailer. Unless I am fucking nuts, I swear to God I saw Shinjiro, and he dies. He always dies in the male route, and if you saw the trailer for Persona Q, the male character appears to be canon.
Oh, so, yeah, and he definitely dies. I remember him.
No, he dies in the male route always. He can survive the female route, but in Persona Q, the male is canon, clearly.
Yeah, sure.
Unless I fucking hallucinated that, I saw Shinjiro.
Here, I'm looking at... Let me look here. I'm looking at this thread in GAF where they have a bunch of pictures. I can see... Is that him? That looks like Junpei. No, you're right. That's him. I see him right there.
So
I see Shinjiro. So I guess, like, fuck Persona 3. That never happened or something.
Well, I assume it's going to be explained, but I'm curious about how, like, did Elizabeth just resurrect people because she's, like, near godlike, or is this, like, a time travel plot? Because, I mean, they're in Tartarus. This is not a Midnight Channel story.
Yeah, I did notice that there is the tower and everything.
It's the tower. They're in the lobby of it that shows it. It is Tartarus. Mm-hmm. So it might be a time travel plot.
It could be. I'd be okay with that.
Do we have any thoughts of it being on 3DS? The Twitch comments were just irate.
Well, I think they thought that was the game that they were going to announce today. That's why they were so pissed.
I mean, even I felt those emotions. I thought that was the announcement. I'm just saying, as far as the platform goes.
Oh, I mean, Etrian Odyssey's always been on DS or 3DS, so I mean, that's fine with me.
It seems like a natural fit, and the Vita is the one getting that dancing game, to be clear. So everyone gets one. It's just maybe if you own a Vita and not a 3DS, you're feeling a little unhappy about your choices in life right now.
I mean, I guess. If I'm thinking, okay, could they have ported it to Vita? I mean, the thing that I like most about Etrian Odyssey, which might seem tedious to people, is drawing the map. Like when you go through the dungeons and you have to map out and like, oh, here is where the hidden passage is and here's some water. I actually really enjoy that. Mm-hmm. It's like the OCD in me or something. I got to complete the whole map. So that's sort of impossible on the Vita unless you have to like press a button to pull up a menu. I mean, that just doesn't work the same.
Yeah. I definitely agree. I mean, that when you think Etrian Odyssey, you think map drawing. That's the defining feature. So I wouldn't expect that to be on Vita. It's just that it's spread across so many platforms. It's like Kingdom Hearts. To know the whole Kingdom Hearts story, to get the full experience, you need a PS2, a PS3, a Vita, a DS, a 3DS. And it's like now Persona, which you could have kind of played all on Sony systems, is split. Not that this isn't unprecedented for Mega 10, which is on every system known to mankind, but just the Persona sub-series, Sony fans felt like that was theirs.
So I guess to be completely clear, I'm reading different threads and different news articles. The director, I think I said this earlier, but the director for Etrian Odyssey 4 is doing this Persona Q Shadow Labyrinth, and the Project Diva director is doing the dance game. So it's not just a direct ripoff. It like literally is the same people.
Yeah, I would have been surprised if it wasn't the Etrian Odyssey guy. As far as the Project Diva thing, that is more surprising because as you and I were talking about, I don't know if that was on the recording, but presumably that started development before they were purchased by Sega.
Yeah, so I don't know how that happened, but whatever.
So either they worked really fast or just, mocked up that stuff we saw and that's all that exists. Or
that's totally possible. They only showed the same thing like over and over and over again.
Yeah. Or they were working on a project together, and the fact that existed swayed the decision of like how that acquisition went down. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe Nintendo offered more money, but it's like we're already in bed with Sega, and we can't eat that project's loss. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So then they had to go with Sega. That's a possibility. I'm obviously could be 100% off base, but it occurs to me that Nintendo isn't exactly in the idle game business, and if that's the direction they want to go, it does make the Sega thing make more sense.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, now that we got Persona 5, I'm not excited for that. I am excited for this Etrian Odyssey game, though, because I liked 4.
Oh, I'll play it. Dude, I will play it. I'm down with it. I love the P3 characters. I will give any excuse to see those people back in action.
For sure.
Even if they have to fucking bring Teddy along, I'll be on that journey. Like the other 10,000 people in that stream, my concern was that was all we were getting.
Well, see, here's when I got really concerned, because on the teaser website, there were 3 boxes. So we got this 3DS dungeon crawler, and then we got the Ultimate Suplex, and then we got the dancing game. I'm like, this can't be it. This can't be it. And then they started another countdown. Like, the whole screen started going red, and they started another countdown. I'm like, okay, this has got to be it.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing was, Teddy talked for another 15 minutes after that.
Yeah.
He just talked and talked and talked. And, I mean, obviously, I don't speak Japanese. None of it made any sense to me. But then he was surprised by the teaser. Like, the screen went red, and the thing started clocking down, and he flipped out and was like, oh, no, what's going on? Like, as far as I can, lip read a mascot there. But he was, like, surprised by it. And I was like, there's no other explanation for this.
Yeah.
Like, this has to be it. I was actually prepared for it just to be a logo and then just cut stream. Like, at that point, like, that would have been all I needed. The fact that we got 40 seconds is a miracle. But I went through all 5 stages of grief watching that stream.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, when it was Persona Q, I was like, God fucking damn it. And then it was the Ultimax Arena, and I was like, well, there are 3 announcements. Like, the whole time the arena thing was going on, because I already knew that existed. We all did.
Yeah.
So that was just me rationalizing, like, okay, there's one more. And then the dancing came out, and I was just so broken. So, did you see on Twitter what I tweeted?
What did I forget?
I just slammed my keyboard for 150 random characters.
Oh, I did see that.
It was just the most gibberish I could possibly manage. I was just so stressed out at that point. It was so... it was trying.
Yeah.
And then we just sat and listened to Teddy talk, and he just talked and talked, and then we were vindicated. It was legendary. It'll go down. People will remember this. It was an event.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Would you have preferred it to be more direct?
I don't know. I mean, now that we know what we know, I'm not sure. I mean, if it was more direct, I guess if it was more direct with more content, like if they did a full reveal, like showed some gameplay, like, you know how they did these trailers for these games, like they showed a little bit of gameplay, talked about them for a little bit. Like if they did something like that, maybe it would have been better. But
and especially because it's coming out in a year in Japan, so they must have footage.
Oh, I'm sure it's got to be in some form.
This isn't a Final Fantasy Versus situation where they just don't have anything to show because they're still designing all the costumes somewhere. This is like it's in like pretty steady production, I imagine. You know.
Yeah.
I would have just, God damn it, some concept art, anything. Oh man, it's rough. It's rough, but I'm glad. I mean, we know it exists, and that's good enough for me.
Yeah,
I guess.
I mean, maybe they're saving it for E3 or some Famitsu exclusive reveal or something.
TGS.
No, next year TGS? That can't be that far away, and that would be close to when it's releasing.
That'll be the big blowout, though.
Perhaps.
I'm thinking about just going into just lockdown. Just complete radio silence on this.
Literally knowing nothing. You're like,
yeah.
I'll just buy the game and be surprised.
No, think about it. I mean, when was the last time you went into a game just straight blind? I know you tried to for The Last of Us.
Yeah,
but
it was hard. I was at the Sony event when they did the gameplay reveal. So other than that, that's pretty much all I saw, though.
I mean, yeah.
It was better for it, though. That was one of the best gaming experiences all year because I went totally blind.
I agree. It's just hard with this job, you know?
Yeah, totally.
It's like I was so hyped for Pokemon. By the time I got it in my hands, I knew what they all looked like.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I wanted to or not, it's inescapable. So.
Just to further clarify, I'm looking at the trailer again for that Shadow Labyrinth. Apparently Marie from Persona 4 Golden is in it.
Yeah, actually, I did notice that.
Okay, I did not initially. I was like, "What is this?" I just didn't pay attention.
And there's also like shadow versions of all the characters in the Ultimax Suplex Hold or whatever.
Yeah, that's cool.
And Adachi. Did I mention this? The Twitch comments when Adachi popped up were my favorite. It was like, Adachi's innocent. Adachi did nothing wrong.
Oh God.
Everyone was just like on his side. It was beautiful. They didn't actually show any footage of him fighting though, or at least I didn't see it.
I don't know if he's a character. I mean, obviously they have sprites for him, but
it looked like in-game like animations. It wasn't, you know what I'm saying? It was like Chie like I guess against him, and then he like jumped out and someone else jumped in to fight her. Mm-hmm. But like it looked like the assets were like game ready. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like a portrait. So it would be strange if he wasn't playable, given that.
Very true. Maybe he's a boss or something later on.
Did he break out of jail? Like,
yeah, isn't he like sentenced to life or something like that?
I assume it'll be like a situation where like the town gets enveloped in fog and like pulled into the TV world or something, and that's how he's there. Some kind of plot convenience.
Yeah, some MacGuffin.
There was also that shot of Yukari in the helicopter in her costume from the show she's on now. I don't know if you know this, but like her story is like after the events of the game, she becomes like an actress.
Okay.
And so she's like in the Sentai show, and that's why she's in that.
Oh, I was like, why does she look like the Pink Ranger?
Yeah, she's in. Yeah, I'm sure you know what Sentai is. I don't have to explain that to you. But she's the Pink Ranger essentially, and I guess Mitsuru picked her up in a fucking Kajiro Group helicopter and is like, "We have a mission. No time to change clothes." I would have been like, can we just stop by my house? Like, come on.
Oh man.
Also, I guess Junpei is a baseball player now.
Good for him.
So it's a weird hobby to begin with, but this series is another level of weird.
Yeah. Gosh, I don't know. All I gotta say is it's gonna be a crazy wait. You know what's funny? We're getting potentially we're getting Final Fantasy 15 and Persona 5 in the same year.
Yeah, but one is next gen and one is not.
Fuck next gen. I just want Persona 5.
I know. Actually, I was talking to, I think it was Yusuf, who said, "Oh, Atlas just gave everyone a reason to keep their PS3." And I was like, "Bitch, you ever heard of Drakengard? Drakengard 3 is still coming out for PS3. I wasn't getting rid of mine anytime soon anyway."
Oh yeah, me neither. Tales of Xillia 2 is coming out next year.
Yeah.
There was something else I couldn't remember, but there was another game that I think was coming out on current gen only next year.
Yeah. There's also my brain. Oh, Gran Turismo. I don't know if you care about that. I do.
Yeah, that's coming out in December, I think.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you shouldn't have gotten rid of your PS3. Although I don't think even Microsoft wants you to have a 360 anymore.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't throw away my old consoles. I'm not one of those people that trades it in for value towards my new one. I just keep it. So
it depends on the system. I still have a PS2, but I no longer have, for instance, a GameCube.
Because you can play it on Wii, right?
Yeah. So it depends. Yeah, backwards compatibility is a big deal for me. PS4 doesn't have it, so I still have my PS3. Simple as that.
Yep. Pretty
All
much.
right, we don't have much details to go on for P5, and that's unfortunate. Did you want to say anything else about that?
I mean, we could go on all night speculating, but yeah, I think that's about all I can really say right now.
We're talking around it, unfortunately. But, I mean, it exists. That's the important thing, I guess.
Finally, it's official, and there's a theme and a color, and a release window.
And we know Shoji Meguro is doing the soundtrack.
Oh, did they mention his name? I didn't catch that.
Yeah, the half of the trailer is just the names of the people involved. The first half is just the director and I think the writer and the composer, and then it's the chairs and then the English.
Yep, but yeah, ugh. It's gonna be a long wait, Austin. It's gonna be a long wait.
It could be longer. Winter 2014 ain't bad, actually.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's about where we can leave it, unless there's something else you wanted to add.
We don't have much more to go off, unfortunately, but I will not be forgetting that adventure anytime soon. Did you see the Atlas USA's PR manager, John Harden? Someone tweeted at him, like, "What is going on?" And he's like, "I have no idea, but I won't be answering any emails for a week."
He changed his Twitter avatar and it just says hype with Teddy.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, he was just as confused as we are. But if you do follow him on Twitter, you saw like a week ago where he posted that Japanese corporate people were at the USA offices, presumably like locking shit down. So I wonder how much they know. Like, someone in America knows more about Persona 5 than I do, and I'm not okay with that.
What does he say? I don't even know at this point. I'm going to read comics under the covers and delete any email I receive for the next week.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, I gotta go to bed. It's like 5 a.m.
All right. I stayed up. This is still Saturday.
Oh,
for
me too. Yeah, I didn't sleep.
Well, also you're in an advantageous time zone. It's 8 a.m. for me.
Oh my god, you're crazy.
And I'm still awake. You're 5 a.m., right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess I'll talk to you later, dude. Thanks for doing this. I'm just glad I didn't have a stroke. I was worried. During that, I was like, I am just not in the. I'm just not okay with what's going on right now. Please help.
Man. Yeah, it could have been really bad. But they're like, okay, guys, here's your persona chart.
I know. Oh man, that was intense. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, man. Later.